Hi guys, welcome back to World of Stories. I know that you must be pretty mad at me for not posting for the past 2 weeks. One of my subscribers, I guess, has sent me something that said, "When are you gonna launch a new video?" And so, anyways, is one thing. And I really hope you can forgive me. And this one is gonna be a really long summary since I know you guys kind of must have forgotten it. So, anyways, what was happening is that technically they were having an assembly and they thought there was gonna be a guest, everyone, but there wasn't a guest, and it was just to announce that there were going to be special elections to replace the student council. So there are student council elections in the autumn. The class officers kept skipping the meetings because of recess. Vice Principal always said that there were 2 conditions for running for office. You have to be willing to attend all of the student council meetings, and you can't have two detentions or more. So Greg felt like that role was directed at him because he just picked up his 3rd detention because when in his first year of school, an 8th grader, I guess, sold him an elevator pass saying it would go to the 2nd floor, the 1st floor. For $5, he would sell the pass for $5. So, anyways, Greg bought it, and it looked pretty official, but it was a scam. There was no thing as a special elevator and all that. Yeah, and he unloaded it on a kid for $2.5, and he got a detention, and Raleigh never had a detention, so he told Raleigh that Raleigh should run for the principal and all that. And Greg would make all the decisions through one of those headphone thingies, and Raleigh would say them on the meetings. So anyways, let's continue from where we left off. Oh, and before we start off, if you want to be elected student council next year, if you're in school, then please subscribe, like with all notifications on. And even if you don't want to be student council, or you're not even in school, still do it. So, anyways, guys, let's just continue. I hope you forgive me. Anyways, let's continue. I volunteered to be his campaign manager so we wouldn't even have to lift a finger to get elected. So we went to the bulletin board in the front hallway to sign Raleigh up. I told him he should run for one of the juicy spots like president or vice president. But he wanted to run for a social chairperson. I have no idea what a social chairperson does, but as long as Raleigh gets to vote on the appointed decisions, I'm fine with it. Wednesday. Yesterday, some of the other candidates were hanging posters up in the hallways and handing out buttons and candy to get themselves elected. So we were all already behind. Tina Barber, treasurer. I knew we were going to have to dream up for something big to make sure Raleigh gets elected. So here's what I came up with. When the candidates give their speech in the gym, the seats will be full of students. A sports game I've seen on TV, people in the stadiums paint their chest to spell out messages. Go Tigers! To be honest, the first time I read this, since they were close together to people, I thought it was Go Tigers. So I was like, what? What's a Go Tigger? And then I realized it was like in a football game, and they had to spell out Go Tigers. So, anyways, last night I got a bunch of Uncle Gary's t-shirts from the garage, turned them up inside out, and wrote a letter on each one so they spelled out, Vote Raleigh Jefferson for social chairperson. It took all night, and I went through about 20 markers, but I knew it was going to make a big splash at the assembly. I got to school early today and gave each kid who was willing to wear a shirt a piece of bubble gum. But when we got into the gym, getting the kids to stand in the right order was like trying to herd cats. It's no. The only candidates who got to give speeches were ones running for president. I was pretty relieved to hear that, because when I heard Raleigh rehearse his speech for social chairperson, he was a nervous wreck. Greetings, fellow students. My name is Raleigh Jefferson, and the first candidate to give a speech was a girl named Sydney Green, with a straight who's a straight A student and has never missed a day of school. She said that if she's elected president, she'll get better equipment for the music room and will organize a project to put new protective covers on the books for the library. Next up was Brian Butsy. As soon as the vice principal called Brian to the podium, everyone in the gym started making all sorts of obnoxious noises. Anyways, I think I know why they made that. Because, his last name, since it has B-U-T-T in it, and when you pass gas, it makes that sound, like, anyways. So let's continue. I'm sure Brian had a lot of interesting things during the speech, but you couldn't hear a word with all that racket. I just hope Brian doesn't run for president when he's a grown-up, because if he does, his campaign rallies are gonna be ridiculous. The last candidate to go on was a kid named Adrian Ellis. Adrian was the only person running for president who didn't put up any posters or hand out any lollipops or anything like that. So nobody really took him seriously. Adrian's campaign speech was only about 30 seconds long. He said that if he'll get elected president, he'll get the school to place the cheap toilet paper in the bathrooms with the expensive quilted kind. When Adrian finished his speech, the whole place went berserk. Kids are always complaining about the toilet paper situation because the type of school uses is like sandpaper. Well, one thing for me, it's not that hard to say Adrian, something like that. From now on, let's just call it Adrian. So it's pretty hard for me because I know how to do like Eugene. Yes, something like that. It's just hard to memorize like which ones are they. Hey, is it Eugene? Is it Egine? Is it Egine? So now let's just call it Egine because it's really confusing for you and me, I guess. So anyways, and from the reaction Egine got, I don't think Sydney or Brian has a prayer. Thursday, just like I predicted, Adrian Ellis won student council president by a landslide. Raleigh won too, because he was actually the only person who signed up for social chairperson. I wish I'd known that, because I could have saved myself a lot of hassle with those t-shirts. The student council had their first meeting today, and Mrs. Birch, the teacher who works with the council, told Egine the school couldn't afford to stock the bathrooms with quilted toilet paper, so we might as well forget about it. Word got around the school fast, and people were pretty mad. The whole reason everyone voted for Egine was because of his campaign promise. Plus, we do fundraisers for the schools every year, and you would think they would take some of the money so we can spend it on some quality toilet paper. I thought the school would be rolling in dough after the last fundraiser we had a few weeks ago, when we sold candy bars. I have to give credit to whoever came up with the idea. The school sent each student home with 50 chocolate crunch candy bars, and we were supposed to go out and sell them to our neighbors. I don't know if there's a single kid who didn't eat at least 3 or 4 candy bars before they even got home. In fact, I ate 15 by the time Mom found out and put a stop to it. So a lot of families like mine had to write a check to the school just to cover the cost of candy the children ate. It's possible that no one sold single candy bar during that fundraiser. Saturday. Speaking of money, Uncle Gary spent all his allowance this week and asked me if he could borrow some of mine. When Dad found out, he was pretty mad. But one thing I can't figure out, that's how do you borrow someone's money? Borrow is like borrowing a book. I give it to you and then you give it to me back. Why would he borrow money? Would take it, not borrow. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, you tell me. Lend is like giving to someone, but then they'll give it back to you. Borrow is you're giving it to someone and they'll give it back to you. But how do you borrow money? Why would someone want to have money but then give it to someone else? Yeah, so technically borrowing doesn't work in this situation. It's technically just taking. It turns out Uncle Gary spent his money on a scratch card at the convenience store. Excuse me while I go laugh. scratch cards. Well, first thing, why would anyone give like money away to someone? I mean, nobody would do that. I mean, if it was me, I probably wouldn't do it. No, I mean, but still, it's pretty strange for me. I mean, why would someone give away money to someone? Plus, also, it could be either that there's no actual lottery. They're just selling it to people. So, anyways, let's continue. Dad told Uncle Gary's got a better chance of getting struck by lightning than winning the lottery, and that he's just wasting his money. Hey, choo-choo. Dad probably should have chosen his words more carefully, because now Manny won't step foot outside of its training. Scratch cards are a sore subject for Dad anyway. A few years ago, Dad bought Uncle Gary a nice winter jacket for Christmas, and Uncle Gary gave Dad a scratch card. Dad seemed a little annoyed that he spent all that money on Uncle Gary, and Uncle Gary just gave him a gift that only cost $1. Dad scratched off the little squares on the card with a coin, and he got 3 cherries, which meant he just won $100,000. Gas butter. ... Okay, that's not possible, bro. That's not possible. I mean, $100,000. I can understand like 1,000 or something like that, but yeah, that's too good to be true. And if it is true, no, I mean he's really lucky for me. And no, I mean, what are the chances? Normally they're like 500 lottery tickets. It's out of 500 lottery tickets, you got the one that gives you the money. Although I don't believe that anymore, that like a lottery can get you, that like lotteries can get you money. But still, if lotteries are real and this guy really got it, then he's just the luckiest person in the world. If he was real, and this is just a story. Anything can happen in a story for me. So, anyways. But it turned out the card was just a gag gift, and it was a fake. You should have seen the look on your face. Yeah, that makes more sense. We still can't mention that Christmas to Dad, because it just puts him in a bad mood for the rest of the day. What Dad really wants is for Uncle Gary to start a job so he can move out of the house. I'm starting to wish Uncle Gary would get a job too, because lately he's been spending a lot of time in my room playing on the computer. He's addicted to this virtual world game where you can be anything you want, like a policeman, a construction worker, or a rock star. That sounds a bit like GTA 5. But in the game, Uncle Gary is just a guy who doesn't have a job and buys a bunch of scratch cards every day. Sorry, your scratch card is not a winner. Dang it! February, Thursday. And there have been some pretty big developments at school this week. It all started on Monday at the last student council meeting. The meetings are held in the teacher's lounge. And after Treasurer Javon Hill went to use the bathroom, he came out with a roll of Pillow Soft Ultra toilet paper. Oh, now it gets interesting. For me, I guess the teachers just don't want kids to have the good stuff. They want it for themselves. Those greedy twits. So anyways, that means the teachers have been treating themselves to the good toilet paper whilst kids are stuck with the cheap stuff. See, I was right, see? When Edie Ellis confronted Mrs. Birch, she knew the teachers were totally busted. Mrs. Birch said that even though the teachers use Pillow Soft Ultra, there's not enough money in the budget to stock all the kids' bathrooms with the expensive toilet paper. I agree with that too. But she could agree to a compromise. What's it gonna be? She said that the school could allow parents to bring in their own rolls from home. And when the announcement came out with loudspeaker, it was a huge victory for Eggie Ellis and the rest of his student council. Today was the first day kids were allowed to bring in their own toilet paper. And I think someone went a little overboard. Oh my! Okay, this is just silly. No, I mean, why is one of the kids, stocking the locker with a whole bag? Like, I mean, one of the big bags, like the ones you get at IKEA. And the other one is carrying two boxes that have like 6 toilet papers. And the other one is carrying a bag filled with toilet paper and a paper bag filled with it. But the last one is the most, crazy one. He has the school bags filled with toilet paper. He has two, those temperature chip bags filled with toilet paper. That's a lot of toilet paper. I mean, why do you even need that much toilet paper? In fact, some kids brought in so much toilet paper that there wasn't enough room to fit it in their lockers. So they carried their supply around with them. To be honest, what I would do, I'd just load it off to someone for a few bucks. Because it's too much stress, and how would you need that much toilet paper in the school? For me, I think the whole school, not in middle school, but in primary school, in primary school, I think only a few rolls of toilet paper get finished. By the toilet thing. And so, everything probably would have been just fine. But I learned someone to a roll of toilet paper at somebody else. And within about 15 seconds, it was a total madhouse. Later that afternoon, the principal got on the loudspeaker and said that from now on, we'll only go out to bring 5 squares of toilet paper to school a day. That seems like a pretty ridiculous rule, because I don't know anyone who can get on by 5 squares. Yesterday, a few kids got caught bringing in more than they were supposed to. So now the teachers are checking our bags when we come to the front doors in the morning. Shake, shake. By the time the principal said that 5 square limit last week, I'd already stocked my locker with about 20 rolls. The teachers do random checks on kids' lockers now, and I knew sooner or later they were going to find my secret stash. Okay, so I have one major question. Who is the principal of Greg's school? I know the Vice Principal Roy, but I don't think he's the principal. Anyways, for the answers, comment down below, and don't worry, this is not the end of the video. So anyways, I wanted to make sure my supply lasted to the end of the school year, so I need to figure out how to protect it. I decided the only way to do that was to have it stored in the bathroom all to myself, and to keep my toilet paper hidden in there. So on Monday, I picked a stall that was pretty clean and locked the door. Then I crawled underneath it to get out. Next, I slept in some old trainers I bought from home on the floor in front of the toilet to make it look like the stall was occupied. Every time I needed to use the bathroom this week, I waited to make sure no one was around. Then I crawled underneath my stall door. It was like I had a tiny little apartment in there. In fact, I wish I thought about this idea a long time ago. For a few days, my system worked great. No one even tried to use my private stall. Dad, is that kid still in there? Yup. Scrub, scrub. But then I forgot to pick one of the spare shoes off the ground. And I guess that must have looked pretty suspicious from the outside. Hey! It wasn't long before people figured out I was hoarding quality toilet paper, and things fell apart pretty quickly after that. Gulp, gulp. Friday. I think what the students learned from the toilet paper experience is that if we want something, we're gonna have to raise the money on our own. So last week, the student council brainstormed ideas for a class fundraiser. The vice president, Hilary Pine, said we should have a car wash, and the secretary, Olivia Davis, said we should do a giant yard sale. I thought we should sell caramel popcorn, but I really didn't have the walkie-talkie loud enough, or everybody was just ignoring me. Caramel popcorn, is this thing on? Iggy and Ellis suggested a pro wrestling match in the gym, and Dave and Hill came up with the idea of a motocross stunt show. But they couldn't decide which idea they liked better, so they settled for a mixed motocross wrestling event. Vroom! Anyways, guys, this is not the end of the video. Just one more thing. What would you pick, the pro wrestling match or the motocross stunt event? Please write it down in the comments. Anyways, I think Egan realized it was going to take a lot of work to pull something like that off, so he assigned it to his vice president. Hilary formed a fundraising committee and got her friends on the student council to join in. On Monday, Hilary reported back to student council and said that everything for the event was planned, but a few small changes made a few small changes to the original idea. Somehow, the motocross wrestling event morphed into a Valentine's Day dance. Egan and the other guys wanted to change it back, but Mrs. Birch said they had to respect the decision of the fundraising committee. I'm sure the truth was that she wasn't really crazy about the idea of motorized vehicles in the gym to begin with. Ever since word got around to the Valentine's Day dance, it's all anyone can talk about at school. The girls seem really excited and they're treating it like some sort of middle school prom. There's already a dance committee, which Charlie got invited to since he's the social chairperson. I'm just glad there's a male presentation on that committee. Because if the girls have their way, Christina will be the entertainment for the night. Most of the boys couldn't care less about going to dance. I've heard a bunch of guys saying there's no way they're going to pay $3 to go and dance in the school gymnasium. But all that changed later this week when the first candygrams got handed out in homeroom. The candygrams are an invitation to a Valentine's Day dance. And the dance committee started telling them at lunch the other day. If you pay 25 cents, you can send a candygram to anyone you want. And Bryce Anderson got one from at least 5 different girls right off the bat. Dear Bryce, it would be sweet if you'd go to me with the Valentine's Day dance. Signed, Jessica. After the first wave of candygrams got delivered, some of the boys who didn't get one got jealous of the guys who did. Now all of a sudden, everyone wants to go to dance because no one wants to be left out. So yesterday at lunch, there was a big rush on candygrams. Dig dig. Like I said before, there are more boys than girls in my grade this year. So I think a lot of the guys are nervous they're going to end up not having a date to dance. So most of the guys are acting really different when a girl is around. At lunch, guys usually take spoonfuls of mashed potato and flick them up at the ceiling to try to get them to stick. Don't even ask me what they put in the potatoes to make them stick like that. Glop, toss, scoop. Sometimes I forget to look up when I find a place to sit. Plop. The girls really hate the mashed potato thing, and that's why they sit on the other side of the cafeteria. But now the boys know they're not going to get one of the girls to go dance with them if they act like jerks. So anyways, guys, this will be the end of the video. I hope you really liked it, and again, please forgive me for not posting in the last gajillion days. So anyways, guys, this will be the end of the video. Please subscribe, share, and like. Comment down below after this Wimpy Kid book when I finish it. Which one would you like me to read? Anyways, guys, this will be the end of the video. I already told you that, so like I told you, just subscribe, but that's all you have to do. Oh, and like and share it, please, guys. It really helps me. To be honest, for now, I'm on 4 subscribers. That's like 4 more than I thought I'd have. So anyways, guys, bye, guys. I hope you liked this video. Please forgive me. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.